Greetings, precious, beloved spirit soul, Jiva. We all have a name, probably have many names, but those are just sounds, and you're not the name, you're not the sound, you're not the physical body, you have a spiritual body. And my topic is, in the beginning was the doubt. In the beginning was doubt. Now you say, yeah, but in the beginning was the Word. Yes, the Word creates doubt in your own inner knowing that is part of you as a divine being who was never born and will never die. You are eternity. You don't attain it. You are it. You are life. Outside isn't life. It's a projection. And it appears real, it acts as real, and it's real for what it is, because the real in it is whatever comes from us or through us is also the divine, the source, all that is, the power behind that, the invisible of the visible. Okay. And so that... And people say, well, how could God allow this to happen if this is happening to these children that are so abused, and people, and what's in the blood, and all of this stuff? Mosquitoes included. How could God allow it? Well, because you opted for free will. And you are a divine being. And one of the works I like a lot, of course, I like the work of Robert Monroe. And I did his seminar back and when he was still in body and on sounds and such, because he could easily leave this physical and actually be in the astral plane. And that's when we, as we've done over and over again, drop our present physical concept, which this is a concept. And I was looking in the dictionary yesterday, and it's the Oxford, but, as it's abridged a little because, and that's this world is in the dictionary because those who have us produce that world, their world for them through us, because we're the creator beings, that's their world is in the dictionary. That's that. And okay, so everything out here, in a sense, has a suggestion, even to know and remember who you are. This is a remembering process. To remember who you are, it's that we have clues that trigger the awakening. And yes, our own awakening because of our choice, of our willingness to let go of materialism as our God, as money as our God, as form our source of pleasure, because we're pleasure seekers. It's our nature. We are the pleasure of the divine. And this is why I love that the path I love that I find has worked the most for me, but it connects the dots because I'm a researcher. I'm not trying to prove a truth. I'm always in seeking the absolute truth. And the absolute truth is you and who we are. It isn't a concept that's the truth. In fact, years ago, I think I'd already told you when I did a lot of rebirthing breathing, which is this connected breathing process, a wonderful process, and dear Sandra Ray, she's a beautiful soul, written many books on the breathing process, and dear friend many years ago. But anyway, she's she's still doing her thing, Sandra Ray, very great. But the breathing, they would call it rebirthing, or we called ours ecstasy breathing, and it was in this process of the breath itself is so healing, and it brought up many things, past lives, it's even and different things I've done, and have brought my memories of even right when I entered and chose to play the game, which we then were called fallen. We're called the fallen ones. And because we have chosen that, doesn't mean God doesn't love us, doesn't mean it's not okay to make a mistake, but we need to admit our mistakes, and there's a process, and reclaim. Just like the story that was so good about the prodigal son in the New Testament, about there he's living in the pig pen, Yep, feeding the pigs, and there's other things that go on with them. Poor souls. And a pig has the intelligence, a pig-bodied living entity has the intelligence of a 4-year-old child, and will suffer what it goes through when they are tortured and what is done to them. And what humans do to animals is done to humans because humans are doing it to animals. People don't get this. You see, they'll take their little karma, their little things here and there and say, oh yeah, but that's food, and that's And I want you to know, because I lived with pigs in India and sewage down the street, and it was great living there. It was fabulous. Where I learned there that a lot of people, third world, so-called third world worlds, are happier than the wealthiest of the so-called first world. It had nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. So anyway, so in the beginning, now I'll get back to this, I got off path, is doubt. And so the word then creates doubt, because our nature is we're both independent and dependent. So we have to have a shelter. That's our source, is our shelter, is our part of. But when we turn away from source because we want our own free will, because I want my own world the way I want without my being in God's world, means I want a world that's not God's world, that's a different world. So then you have a fake God. You have a fake source who then would be, let's call it the architect, that's what we call it, of this particular reality, where that person can reign supreme, but it has to be an artificial reality. So the mind doesn't originate or innovate, it can simulate, and then you'll see certain insects are very good with simulation. They're expert of simulation, sound by frequency, also probably fragrance, and they're all they're telepathic. Very interesting when you look at you're looking for clues and you're looking for similarities, such as above, so below, because you'll see patterns, and you'll watch your own patterns. and so that's all self-awareness, where you really take this thing seriously because it's all about you. Come on. And you're eternal and you can't die. And you were never born, and yet you're going to drop the concept. So it's actually, what's the concept? Got all the stuff. So if you're attached to the stuff, you're going to have to want to create this again, or be projected again, so you can have the stuff. But when you really look at what's that supposed to bring, is the satisfaction, is the fulfillment. You start to notice where is your true satisfaction and fulfillment and joy of being, you see. And that whole thing, and my teacher, and I was talking about living in India and such, and when I studied with Haridas Shastriji, my great teacher, and he written over 85 books in Sanskrit and such. I got to serve him personally and be there and take care of Brahma bulls and cows. I loved it. I had these 8 Brahma bulls, and even a few times I had to be so in the Zen to undo the chain, that because then they have horns, and to let them go out into the yard to play, and they could go whack and you're done. It was like, whoa, you got to be really, really centered. And they were beautiful. Oh my goodness. And the mamas and the babies and everything. So anyway, but he said and was saying that all of this knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, is really there for you to give up doubt. Doubt of your own knowing, doubt of that there is a source, there's God, a person. Because see, well, I'm a person, but God's not a person. It's an impersonal, it's a thought, it's a nothing, and you're not. Wow. Did you hear that? What a validation. It was people thought that was God and all that. Did you know? Go back, hear it again. That was a validation. That was the ice crack across the lake. He was like, wow. Signs are everywhere. It's all perfect. Reflecting back to you. Wow. Taken away again. But he said it's all about getting rid of doubt. That's why you got to absorb yourself in truth. And there is absolute truth. And you're the absolute truth. And the knowledge, and all of this trying to make you relative, take a side, be on either one. You transcend, you observe, you witness, you bring forth, you are now who you are. Give up doubt. Trust yourself. I love you. And I know you. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to be ambitious. You don't have to follow the plan for them of whatever. You can have it. The ideal now. You got it.